What if a human mind was stripped of emotion and turned into a weapon? What you're about to witness isn't just an experiment gone wrong. It's the birth of something terrifying. Hector Hammond has been working in the shadows, pushing science beyond morality, and the result is standing right in front of us. An obsidian nightmare, powered by living ooze, cables, and stolen humanity. No heartbeats, no brainwaves, no soul, and yet it lives. Stay till the end, because this reveal changes everything in the Green Lantern universe and sets up a threat far bigger than Joe, Simon, or anyone else is prepared for. But before we start the video, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Let's jump into it. Our comic opens with pure darkness, a void where even light seems afraid to exist. Todd Rice, you are an unknown within the spectrum of light. Quard has found you. The forces of chaotic action are upon you. You must be without fear, entirely without. Suddenly, the darkness breaks. A blinding blue-white light explodes open beneath Todd Rice as he drops through the circular opening. The moment is shattered by a human voice from below yelling, "Hey, down there!" In the final panel, we see Todd hanging inside a glowing shaft, gripping the edge as light spills around him. Someone looks up from below, concerned, asking, "You okay?" Todd, still shaken, answers honestly, "I thought I heard a voice." And with that, the mystery of the light and what has chosen Todd Rice truly begins. From below, the man looks up at Todd and asks, "You heard it too?" Todd, still shaken and rubbing his neck, exhales hard and answers honestly, "Look, man, I'd really like to get out of here." The scene shifts as the man steadies himself beneath the opening, trying to keep things calm. He nods and says, "Yeah, I'll bet." Then, glancing up at Todd's awkward position, he asks, "How are the ribs?" Todd winces slightly, forcing out a weak response. I could use more painkillers." Without hesitation, the man replies again, "I'll bet." He reaches for a thick hose connected to the machinery and calls out, "Okay, feed me the hose. Gonna lock her on." Todd's eyes widen. Confused and nervous, he shouts back, "What? Lock what on?" Trying to explain himself, panic creeping into his voice, he adds, "Look, I told you everything I know." But the answer that comes back is cold, almost rehearsed. "Yeah, you're not so useful anymore," Mr. Hammond says, "except for this." Todd swallows hard. After a tense pause, he reluctantly responds, "Okay, pass it here." As the hose is fed upward, Todd looks at it in disbelief and blurts out, "This? What are you doing?" The final panel pulls back, revealing Todd being sealed inside a massive cylindrical containment chamber. Metal clamps snapping shut as the machine hums to life. Trapped and terrified, his voice echoes inside the cylinder as he screams, "What are you doing to me?" A wide shot of an industrial warehouse. Harsh lights cutting through drifting steam as heavy machinery hums. A massive truck marked hazardous chemicals idles inside, its thick hose already connected to a towering containment tank. A technician reports calmly, "So, we've got the black ooze from the Evergreen site in tank number 1, sir. Roughly 200 gallons. In tank number 2, Mr. Rice. And the instruments to take readings, of course." What happens when a man is completely submerged in the same substance that turned Dorsey into what he became? Hector Hammond stands among his team, observing everything with detached curiosity. A technician turns slightly toward him and says, "We're expecting the reaction to be, well, significant, Mr. Hammond." Hammond doesn't respond right away. Instead, the next panel shows him casually lifting a small vial to his lips, taking a sip as though he were sampling a fine drink, completely unfazed by what's unfolding around him. Finally, his patience snaps, not in anger, but boredom. He speaks sharply, "So stop teasing and hit it already." Without missing a beat, he adds one last chillingly casual request, "And get me another New York sour, will ya?" Goldface asks, "You got anything to drink? Just a soda cola or something." The fake voices can really dry out the throat. Cut to the floor below. Sojourner Mullein lies on her back, hurt and struggling to breathe. She groans weakly. "Go to hell." Goldface looks down at her, unbothered. "No? All right, fine. Let's get into it." The scene shifts to another room. A man lies unconscious on a couch while the Goldface stands nearby, hands in his coat pockets, narrating the situation like a checklist. "You've been shot twice. You're dying on your ex's floor. Your friend's unconscious on the couch. I could shoot him. Not like he could stop me. Gold bullets. Gold suit, gold face. Gold being the one thing your green whammy can't touch." Which raises so many questions, by the way, and that brings me to my point. Then, without raising his voice, he adds, "You can't stop me. Even if you can summon your whatever it is in the amount of pain you're in, Goldface, remember? But you don't have to die here. In fact, I would rather you didn't. There's a reason I didn't just put one in your head, Joe. That's where the intel is. Goldface leans down, his shadow swallowing her as he demands, "Tell me where the Green Lantern went." Sojourner Mullein face twists in agony. Blood runs from her mouth as she tries to speak. Her vision blurs. The pain overwhelms her. In the next panel, her head slams sideways against the floor. Eyes unfocused, breath shallow. Goldface straightens slightly, curious. What's that? In the final horrific close-up, blood drips from her lips onto the floor as she barely manages to form the words. Goldface bends closer and says, almost amused, "Speak up, Joe. I didn't hear ya." Goldface lunges forward, his golden boot coming down hard as Joe twists beneath him, blood streaking the floor. The motion is sudden, brutal, too fast to stop. In the center panel, Goldface's face fills the frame, molten eyes blazing as he roars, "Ah!" Joe screams back with raw desperation, her arm flaring as she struggles. "Off! Get off me!" Her voice cracks as she realizes what's happening beneath her. There's blood. The next panel snaps sideways as Goldface is thrown off balance, his body skidding across the floor in a shower of sparks and streaked motion lines. Joe tumbles hard, spinning away, her body slamming and rolling as she fights to breathe. In the final wide panel, Joe drags herself forward across the ground, one hand reaching out, her face pale and strained. Behind her, Goldface regains his footing, turning sharply. A shocked voice cuts through the chaos. "There's blood." Goldface stares at his own hand, then back at her, confusion bleeding into anger as he demands, "What did you do? What did you do?" A moment of relief cuts through his fury as he mutters, "Not my blood," then quieter, almost grateful. The next panel snaps tight onto his glowing face as rage immediately replaces relief. He roars, veins of light blazing. "Deal's off, Mullein. The deal is off," he snarls, demanding answers. "Tell me or..." The scene abruptly shifts to a different room, eerily calm by comparison. A voice breaks the silence with dry satisfaction. "Wonderful." Below, chaos tells its own story. The camera pulls high above the kitchen floor, revealing Joe collapsed near the doorway, a thick trail of blood smeared across the tiles as she drags herself forward. Goldface's voice follows her, sharp and mocking. "Where are you, Joe?" "The kitchen?" He tilts his head, almost impressed. "You move pretty fast for someone bleeding out." In the next panel, Joe slumps against a cabinet, clutching her side with trembling hands, blood soaking her shirt as her breathing grows shallow. Her vision blurs, but instinct kicks in. A blood-slicked hand lashes out toward the door. Slam! The door crashes shut. In the final panel, green light flares violently as Joe's power surges despite her condition. A key melts and twists inside the lock, glowing bright as it deforms with a sharp hiss. The room seals tight. Joe slumps against the cabinet, barely conscious, but still fighting, as Goldface is left outside, locked out and furious. Joe slumping against the wall, her body trembling as she fights to stay conscious. A weak sound escapes her lips. On the other side of the door, Goldface grips the handle, inspecting it with irritation. He growls, half impressed and half annoyed. "What the hell did you jam this?" He leans closer, examining the damage. "Fuse it to the frame somehow." From the hallway, his tone shifts, sharp, almost admiring, as something crashes nearby. "That's inventive, Mullein." A pause. "I underestimated you." Goldface doesn't wait. He rears back and drives his boot into the door. Wham! Metal buckles, sparks flying as he snarls. "Too bad I'm her." Another kick follows, heavier this time, coming in anyway. Inside the kitchen, Joe staggers toward a counter, barely able to keep her feet. Her thoughts fracture as she presses a glowing green hand to the surface, whispering to herself, "Can't heal, can't heal." Unless her eyes fall on an open drawer, junk drawer. There's got to be. Her hand sweeps across scattered tools and scraps. Then, there, another violent impact rocks the room. Wham! Goldface's voice cuts through the door, frustrated and furious. "You're not making this easy, Joe." A beat. "You think?" Joe collapses onto the floor, clutching a small object tightly. Blood coats her hands as she forces herself to focus. "Okay," she whispers. "Breathe." The final panel zooms in tight as she presses the object into her wound. Teeth clenched, eyes squeezed shut. Her voice counts through the pain, steady and determined. 1, a sharp intake of breath. 2, and the moment freezes there. Joe balancing on the edge between collapse and survival, while Goldface closes in from the other side of the door. Joe's body arches violently as the metal plunges into her wound. Blood erupts in a brutal spray, her scream tearing through the panel. Her hands claw at her own side, slick with red, the green light on her chest flickering as pain overwhelms everything else. Below, the hunt resumes. Goldface storms down the hall, fury echoing in his voice as he bellows, "I'm coming in, Mullein." The next panel hits hard. His golden boot slams into the door with explosive force. Wham! The frame shudders, screws ripping free. Another panel, crunch. The lock tears apart, metal buckling inward as the door finally gives. Inside the room, Joe's world narrows to sound and sensation. Her vision swims, tears streaming uncontrollably down her face, blood splattering her cheeks as she gasps for breath. Her thoughts fracture into panic as she whispers, barely audible, "Where is it?" A desperate blink. "Where is it?" The final panel pulls in tight on her eyes, wide, wet, reflecting terror and pain as blood runs down her nose and cheeks. A calm, intrusive voice cuts through the chaos, cold and deliberate. "What's the most painful thing you ever did?" And the question hangs there, cutting deeper than the wound itself, as Goldface closes in and Joe teeters on the edge of consciousness. A younger Joe runs through tall grass beside a friend as fireworks explode in the sky. A voice from the past laughs and says, "I stepped on a nail. Doc said I nearly got tetanus. What about you?" Joe answers without hesitation. Most painful thing, the memory shatters. Back in the present, Joe presses her bloody hand hard against her mouth, choking back a scream as blood pours through her fingers. Her thoughts loop desperately. "Don't pass out. Don't pass out." Another memory surfaces, quieter this time. A young girl looks up, concern in her eyes, and asks, "To me or someone else?" The tone shifts violently. The page turns stark and harsh as a furious figure looms in Joe's mind, pointing straight at her, venom in every word. "I want you to know something, Joe. I want you to know you deserve this." The accusation continues, relentless. "If you're in pain right now, you wanted that. You went out and served it up to yourself on a platter." Then the command, cold and cruel, "So eat it, Joe Mullein." The next panel snaps back to reality. A piece of blood-soaked flesh hits the floor. Joe gasps through clenched teeth, forcing the words out. "That's one." A close-up of the furious face in her head follows, eyes wild, teeth bared as it snarls, "Eat every bite." In the final panel, Joe slumps forward on the kitchen floor, drenched in blood, her green emblem flickering weakly as she grips the object in her hand. Through agony and tears, she forces herself onward, whispering, "And one to go." Goldface pacing just outside the kitchen, his golden body tense, head cocked as he listens. He snarls into the doorway, "Mullein, what are you doing in there?" Then his tone sharpens, mocking and angry. "Sounds like crying? Are you crying?" The next panel drops to the floor inside the kitchen. Blood has pooled across the tiles, thick and dark. In the center of it all lies a crushed soda can, half submerged, rocking slightly in the red mess. Goldface loses patience. He drives his boot into the wall beside the door. Splinters and plaster explode outward as he barks, "Got a phone in there? Calling Chase?" His rage spikes instantly. "Fine, I'll kill her too." The door finally gives way. In a burst of shattered wood and flying debris, Goldface crashes through, screaming, "You hear me, Mullein?" As he steps inside, blood splashes under his boots. He throws his arms wide, fury boiling over, and roars, "I'll kill everyone you ever." The final panels slow everything down. Another crushed can drops into the pool of blood. TNK. Ripples spread outward, staining the floor even darker. The threat hangs unfinished in the air, cut short not by Joe's voice, but by what she's done and what it's about to mean. Joe rises off the blood-soaked floor, her body lifting effortlessly as green energy coils around her like living lightning. The air screams as power snaps and cracks, shards of light spiraling outward. Her hair twists and rides, every strand alive with motion, as the Green Lantern symbol on her chest burns brighter than ever. Below her, Goldface staggers back, one hand raised in disbelief as the glow washes over him. The next panel cuts in tight on Joe's face, eyes blazing, teeth bared through pain and fury. She raises her hand, gripping the metal pliers, now humming with green energy, and snarls, "Know what isn't gold? A beat." These. The power surges harder, flooding the room as Joe finally stands her ground. No longer bleeding prey, but a Green Lantern unleashed. Goldface reacts on instinct, not confidence. He snaps his weapon up and fires. The moment dies instantly. Joe hovers above him, calm and terrifying. Emerald lightning crawling through the air. Goldface looks down and realizes it's already over. The gold ripples, then rips free from his body, torn away by her will. He crashes to the floor as his armor peels off like a lie. Joe doesn't yell. She commands, dig the gold out of that. Stripped, broken, exposed. Goldface is no longer a monster, just a man. The power shift is complete. Joe hovering in the wrecked kitchen, her body still lifted by fading emerald light. Blood stains the floor beneath her. Cabinets tracked, glass shattered. Her command echoes in the room, cold and final. Dig the gold out of that. The next panel softens. Joe lowers slowly, the glow around her dimming as reality catches up. She lands near the window, shoulders slumping, chest heaving. For the first time since the fight began, her eyes close, just for a second. Then they snap open, a tight close-up on her face as her green eye flares. Confusion cuts through the adrenaline as she thinks, what happened here? The scene shifts to the living room. Daylight slants through the windows, illuminating chaos. Blood is everywhere. Thick smears across the floor, splashed up the walls. Cameron Chase and Simon Baz rush in, weapons raised, scanning the room. Cameron stops short, staring at the mess. I don't know, but that's too much blood on the floor. Her voice tightens. Cam, then louder, urgent. Cam, if you're there, say something. Her gaze drops to the couch. A body lies there, unmoving. She stiffens. Is that Jordan on the couch? Simon steps closer, recognition hitting him hard. Yeah, that's him. Without hesitation, he leans in, frustration and fear colliding as he snaps. Hey, jackass, wake up and tell us what's... He stops. The next panel cuts close as Cameron interrupts him, her voice sharp and certain. He can't hear you, and the room falls silent. Everyone realizing at once just how bad this has become, as the aftermath of Joe's fight finally settles in. Joe still hovering above the living room floor, emerald energy licking off her boots and coiling around her legs like living lightning. Below her, Simon Baz steps back, voice sharp and commanding. He's in a coma, so maybe get the hell out of his face. Then, glancing up at Joe with disbelief and tension, he adds, what are you, a luchador? Joe doesn't answer. A beat passes. Simon turns his head slightly, confusion creeping into his voice as he asks, what are you? Joe Mullein. The next panel slams in close on Joe's face, eyes blazing, jaw clenched, fury and pain barely contained as the green light surges brighter around her. She speaks through her teeth, voice low and cutting. Ask your friend in the kitchen. From the hallway, Cameron's voice rings out, sharp with worry. Cam? Everything escalates at once. Joe's power spikes violently. Bands of green energy snap into place around her arms, crossing and tightening as her stance hardens midair. The light flares so bright, it washes the room in emerald white. Simon reacts instantly, raising his gun and shouting, Agent Baz, wait! But Cameron screams over him, panic breaking through. A wall of emerald force explodes outward. Boom! As Joe's power slams into the hallway. The blast catches Simon full on, hurling him backward through wood and plaster, sparks and debris erupting around him as the green energy tears through the space. Cameron is thrown sideways by the shockwave, spinning through the air, teeth clenched, barely managing to keep her footing as the room disintegrates around them. In the next panel, Simon crashes hard into the far wall, gun still in his hand, stunned but conscious. Cameron skids across the floor in a streak of green light and blood, wincing as she lands. She shouts over the ringing destruction, half angry and half awed. Damn it, Simon, I could literally see that coming. The energy doesn't fade. The final panel pulls in tight on Joe. She floats amid the storm of light, eyes glowing solid green, hair writhing like living cables of power. Her hand lifts, fingers spreading as recognition finally breaks through the rage. Her voice steadies, confused, grounding itself in reality, as she looks directly at him and says, Wait, Baz? You're Simon Baz? A pause. Her expression softens just enough to hurt. You were at my wedding, and in that moment, the fight stops. Not because the danger is gone, but because Joe Mullein has finally realized who she just hit. From the floor, Simon looks up at Joe, pain and bitterness bleeding into his voice as he says, Yeah, I was at your divorce too. In the background, behind the scenes, I was the guy who helped pick up the broken wreckage you left after you crushed my best friend's heart into pieces. Joe stiffens, hovering above him, the green glow dimming just a fraction as she tries to respond. I wasn't trying to, but Simon cuts her off. The next panel shifts, his voice steadier now, colder. But I think we're beyond that, don't you? He pushes himself up, raising his gun again, not in rage but necessity, and demands, "Tell me where Cameron is." Then sharper, urgent, "Tell me what you did this time, or so help me." Before he can finish, a calm voice cuts through the room. From the hallway, Cameron Chase steps into view, cigarette already between her fingers, completely unshaken. "I'm right here, Simon." Simon freezes, stunned. Cameron keeps walking, eyes scanning the wreckage as she adds casually, "You've got a message in the dead drop, by the way." She glances around at the blunt-smeared floor and shattered walls, "But it looks like you found out already." The next panel tightens on Cameron as she lights her cigarette, flame steady despite the chaos. Smoke curls upward as her expression hardens. She finally asks the obvious question, voice cool and precise. "So what happened to my apartment?" And the page ends there. Every secret exposed, every relationship strained, standing in the ruins of what just barely didn't become a tragedy. Overhead shot reveals what's left of Goldface. Golden flesh peeled back and ruined, blood pooling beneath him. The lie of his invincibility torn apart. Cameron's voice cuts through the sight, sharp and incredulous. "And you let him in looking like that?" Joe answers flatly, exhaustion weighing every word. "Not with the pliers in him, no. I let him in looking like John Stewart." The perspective shifts as the three of them stand over the wreckage, trying to make sense of it. Cameron circles the thought aloud, piecing it together. He had John's face, John's voice. Even the gold suit wasn't that crazy. Gold's John's whole thing now. She pauses, then adds dryly, "So you figured the guy who found enlightenment with the space people would show up in a metallic polyester suit from the local party store?" A glance downward. "Was he wearing a gold hat too? Did that sell it?" Joe rubs at her temple, the green glow faint but steady, as she replies, "No. He was wearing magic face change gas. We're not all super spies, Cam." She exhales, the pain catching up with her. "And considering I fished a gold bullet out of my gut with those same pliers half an hour ago." Cameron doesn't miss a beat, her tone sharpening as the implications click into place. Gold bullets. How would he know to use those anyway? Her eyes narrow. How would he know to come here before Simon could check in on me? The final panel tightens on Joe as she straightens, anger cutting through the fatigue. She looks Cameron dead in the eye and asks the question that matters most. "Who sold you out?" Simon's voice cuts in first, sharp and confused. "Back up. Gold bullets?" Cameron answers calmly, already connecting dots. "The thing that hit Evergreen was called the Green Lantern by its pilot." She glances toward Joe. The green power that's in Joe made it fly. The next panel softens. Joe looks down at her glowing hand, voice quiet and weighed down by memory, and her gold ring made it crash. She exhales. It was a little more complicated. Cameron doesn't let the thread drop. Taking a drag from her cigarette, she says plainly, "The point is, the green doesn't like gold." Her eyes narrow. "Stewart worked it out. Jordan and Joe knew. Who else?" She doesn't wait for an answer. "Let's find out." Cameron steps forward and reaches out, palm open. Simon stiffens immediately, alarm in his voice. "Kari, what are you?" Cameron answers without looking back, matter of fact. "I'm a level 2 psychic, Simon. Remember?" The next panel drops low, showing the body on the floor between them. Cameron continues, clinical and focused. "Clairvoyance and psychometry. Reading objects by touch." She gestures downward. "A dead body is, by any definition, an object." Simon hesitates, uneasy. "You're sure that's how it works?" Cameron closes her eyes, centering herself as she replies, "I don't know. I wasn't born with a rule book." A breath. "Let me concentrate and maybe." Her face tightens behind her glasses. Then her eyes snap open, glowing white as the vision hits. Contact. And just like that, the truth is no longer buried. It's about to speak. Above Joe, reality fractures into a storm of shattered images. Faces, moments, memories. At the center stands one man, larger than life. His smile sharp and knowing. The truth locks into place. Below, Joe kneels beside the fallen golden body, her hands still glowing as the vision burns into her mind. The noise fades. The room rushes back. Cameron straightens slowly, breath unsteady but voice clear as she delivers the answer everyone's been waiting for. His name is Keith Kenyon. He worked for a man named Hammond. A beat. Then she adds the name that lands like a warning bell. Hector Hammond. The tunnel widens. Joe stands behind her, Simon frozen mid-breath, the weight of that name sinking in fast. This wasn't random. This wasn't messy coincidence. This was planned. Cut to Cameron again, her expression tight, already moving past explanation and straight into survival mode. In the final panel, she looks up sharply and says only what matters now. "We should go. Now." And just like that, the hunt escalates because Hector Hammond is in play, and nothing about this case is small anymore. A voice cuts through the silence, uncertain. "Now?" A beat. "Well, how about now?" the screen doesn't change. We cut closer to the machine, as gloved fingers hover over the controls. Another voice answers, tense and frustrated. Still nothing on your end? No, I'm getting the readings you are. But I thought maybe the connection was. The scene widens. A technician in a yellow suit turns, rattled, and finally blurts out, "Fine, I'll tell him." Across the room stands Hector Hammond, calm and composed in a red jacket, a drink in hand. He doesn't even look up as he asks, "Tell me what?" The technician swallows and gestures toward the machinery. "Well, you wanted readings, sir, and we are getting data from the ooze, but there's nothing coming from Rice." The next panel drives the point home. Screens, wires, tanks, all humming uselessly. No ECG, no brainwaves, nothing. To all intents and purposes, we've created an obsidian shell with no humanity at all inside it. Hammond finally turns, a slow smile spreading across his face. "And you thought I'd be mad, right?" He steps closer, raising his glass casually, almost amused. "That's why I give the orders, and you take them, Doc." He takes a sip, eyes cold and satisfied. Humanity is overrated. It ain't where the money is. The final panel lingers on Hammond's smirk as he lifts the glass in a mock toast. "This obsidian of yours?" And in that moment, it's clear. Whatever they were trying to create isn't a man anymore. It's just a weapon waiting to be aimed. Inside the industrial hangar, alarms scream as smoke coils upward. At the center stands Hammond's obsession, an obsidian monstrosity, wired with machines and crackling blue energy. What was once human is gone. Technicians flee as the floor trembles beneath it. From a distance, Hector Hammond calmly raises his glass, smiling at his creation. "This is exactly what I needed." The final panel pulls back. Monster, chaos, and the man who thinks he's won. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something far worse. Quantum judgment. And that's where this chapter ends. But trust me, this story is just getting started. Hector Hammond finally has what he wanted, and the consequences are about to ripple through the entire Green Lantern mythos. Obsidian isn't just a monster, it's a warning of what happens when power is taken too far. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to check out the full playlist where I've covered every part of this storyline step by step. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next issue raises the stakes even higher, and things are about to get much darker. Until next time, the experiment is complete, but the war is only beginning.